Sitaram, everyone. Welcome to this our third night of Satsang, being done virtually and being brought to you through the compliments of Lal Boys. And tonight, I'd like to welcome Pundit Rajesh Boodoo of the Sama Shiv Mandir of Pachu Lane. He's here to read some Ramayana to help give us some solace in on the occasion of the death of my father, Pundit Deonarine Maharaj. Welcome, Panditji.
Hari Om, 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 Hari Om. We bow to that Lord Bhagwan Sri Ganesh, He who is the remover of all obstacles. We ask of Bhagwan Sri Ganesh, if there may be any obstacle in our prayer, Lord, we ask of Thee again and again that it be removed, O Lord, O Bhagwan. Om Bhakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Vadeva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Gam Gam Ganapati, Gam Gam Ganapati, Gam Gam Ganapati Namo Namah, Gam Gam Ganapati Namo Namah. We call upon Devi Ma Saraswati, she who is the goddess of knowledge, the goddess of learning. We ask of Devi Ma Saraswati to bless us again and again, that we always have good memory, that we remember what we learn. O Ma Devi Saraswati, bless us again and again, O Ma. Om Saraswati Namastubhyam Varde Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. We bow to the divine feet of our Guru. That Guru is the one who removes all darkness from our mind, who gives us that light of knowledge. We bow again and again to the divine feet of our Guru. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Om Pitra Svarga, Pitra Dharma, Pitra Hi Paramam Tapa, Pitri Pritimapani, Priyante Sarvadevata, Priyante Sarvadevata. Surya Putraya Vidmahi, Mahakalaya Dhimahi, Tanno Yamaha Prachodayat. Om Surya Putraya Vidmahi, Mahakalaya Dhimahi, Tanno Yamaha Prachodayat. Tanno Yamaha Prachodayat. Om Surya Putraya Vidmahi, Mahakalaya Dhimahi, Tanno Yamaha Prachodayat. Tanno Yamaha Prachodayat. We call upon that all-eternal God, Bhagwan Sri Krishna. We call upon Him again and again. He who is all-eternal, He who has that sunken chakra in His hand. We bow again and again to Dear Lord. Om Anadi Nidano Deva Shankha Chakra Gajadara अक्षये पुण्डरीकाक्षं प्रेतमोक्षाप्रदो भवा। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीवासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीवासुदेवाय। वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। राम राम रामेति रमेति मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने। जय श्री राम जय श्री राम जय श्री राम जय श्री राम जय श्री राम। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् परमानन्दमाधवम्। कथाय रंबन होतु है सुनो वीर हनुमान। आई की आसन लीजिए सिया सहित भगवंत सिया। पति रामचंद्र की जय उमापति महादेव की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। Sitaram. And a warm welcome to one and all. We'll do a few kirtans and then we'll begin Ramayana Katha. Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Sri Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe Sri Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Sri Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Sri Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe Sri Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe. बोलो श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। Mukunda Madhava Govinda Bol Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol Mukunda Madhava Mukunda Madhava Govinda Bol Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol Ram Ram Bol Ram Ram Bol Ram Ram Bol Ram Ram Bol Krishna Krishna Bol Krishna Krishna Bol Krishna Krishna Bol Krishna Krishna Bol Mukunda Madhava Mukunda Madhava Govinda Bol Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol Ram Ram Bol Ram Ram Bol Ram Ram Bol Ram Ram Bol Krishna Krishna Bol Krishna Krishna Bol Krishna Krishna Bol Krishna Krishna Bol Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol Keshava Madhava Hari Hari Bol Bolo Sri Ramachandra ki jai Bolo Sri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Tonight we do a very simple katha from Ramayana Uttarakhand. And it tells us about the greatness of having this human body, this human form. So if we get this human body, all of us, we have this human body. But if we do not make use of this human body, it is said that we are Mahamuruk, we are great fools who get this human form and waste it. It is like giving away what we call, we give away this human body in such a way, right? It's like giving away what you call the Paris money, the touchstone. You give away that for little shiny little pieces of glass. No one will call you a wise person who does that. Because the Paris money or the touchstone is a stone that is used to attract precious metals. It attracts precious metals and it do not attract what do not have value then. Right? So the human body is like that. We have something called the intellect. The intellect gives us the power to make choice. No other animal, no plant, no other being could make choice but a human being. It's just how it is. So we get something priceless and we do not make use of it. We are great fools. No one will look at us as being wise. Because this human body itself is not given to us to just enjoy the world. You know, like seeing what we could satisfy our senses, seeing what we could eat, you know, that's the first thing we just look to. Try to satisfy the sense by seeing what tastes nice, when it tastes nice. Sometimes we like all kind of different scent, sweet scent, all kind of scent. So we try to satisfy the senses, but this human body itself is given for a higher purpose than that. But most of the time we live and we waste this human life. And I'll tell how we waste this human life. We are supposed to be at least praying to God. We see most people, when we are little children, what we do? We play with toys. All the time playing with what they call Pokemon and all them things, right? Playing with all sorts of toys. No time to think about God. And then, as we get older, you know, you have to do studies, you have to do all these things. So, no time for God now. They ain't thinking about God. They're thinking about doing well in school. And then when we get a little older, what happens? After you finish school, you go university. And this is a cycle we see all the time. You finish university. Well, they say, boy, better get a life partner now, better get married. So you have time for God, you get married now, you fall in love, get married. Now you have children. You think you're thinking about God? You're starting to work. You're running all over the place. You think it's hard time to pray? You start playing now. You say, boy, you know how to get this child the best. So you're looking now to build a nice little house. You're looking to give the child the best of everything. Because most parents is like that. I see the same thing too. I still try. You try to give the children the best. And you know, go on. Now your mind is taken up in educating the children. Now the children go through the same process you go through, reach university. Now you have grandchildren now. Now you're studying to spoil grandchildren. So when we really finding time to pray to God? Must think about that, because most of the time the cycle is that, just going up and down. That's wasting life itself. Not everybody does that, but most of the time it is like that. So we waste this human life just what you call spinning top in mud, because we ain't going nowhere. So we have to try to at least find the time to understand who is God, what is devotion, and how to live a good life. Follow the manual itself, and you really truly enjoy life. But we live in this world, and what happen. We see that all the time. And we are not saying, sometimes we believe that the pundits or the people who try to live a good life believe the things that the world is not good. Everything in this world is good. You need a house, you need a car in this day and age, you need education. Now you need a cell phone too, right? So all these things is necessary, But that don't mean we have to get carried away. Having things is good, but don't be possessed by the things that they say. Possession is good, but don't be possessed by the possession. It's like that. So we get carried away behind the things and forget and believe this is mine now. Many of us, we live and we believe this is mine, that is mine, that is mine. You see people saying that all the time, But if you have one car and it could carry you all over the place, you don't need to have 2-3 cars, You have 6 bedrooms in a house. You could only sleep on one bed at a time, one room at a time. But we, for some reason, the human being is like this. We like to have big amount. And sometimes we see people right here in Trinidad, they see people build big house and all the children going away to study. And what go on, they're alone in their house, They don't even see upstairs. Months pass, they didn't see upstairs. You know why? They get old. They reach a point they can't climb the step to. So we must think about these things sometime. These are things to think about. Because we continue running down. And you see this thing fight down, is another thing. Human beings like to fight down to say, well, I'm the best. My family is the best. My children is the best. The best. And in the end of it all, what we do? We nothing. So at least to enjoy life, we should try to live what is called a regulated life. If they say sleep 8 hours, you sleep a little 8 hours. If they say to work a little 8 hours, work 8 hours now. To work 2 hours and expect 8 hours pay. That has happened too. And if they say to recreate yourself a little 8 hours, you recreate. So, because when you think about life, it's when we now start to see money, you forget about that 8 hours work, you want to work 16 hours and all kind of thing, So you start to lose this thing they call balance. And balance is an important thing, Because once we lose balance, you're running down money, you lose health sometimes. Sometimes you oversleep is a problem too, because let's get lazy and all. So we need to have balance as human beings. And balance is very important. So we mustn't waste this life in all sorts of things. This is really the introduction to the Katha. And then many of us, we believe, when I ask anybody, when you die, where you want to go? Everybody, they say, up there. It's in heaven now. They want to go heaven. When Hindu, heaven is not the main goal. The main goal is apavarga or moksha, which is liberation, to get in oneness with God. That is the main goal of being human. Because heaven is like a vacation. We go for a little while, enjoy, and back here again until we get in oneness with God. Even if we go narak, the lower, what we'll enjoy. You'll go there, you'll pay for some of your little crime you do. You break in jail, and you come back right here. So when we think about it, and we realize that we only, what the old people used to say, gore, only gore in the same thing over and over. We're wasting time. Somewhere in some lifetime, at least, we should try hard to get in oneness with God. And that's not an easy thing either. But we must at least try. Life after life, we must try. We'll get through. You know, a fella asked Narad Muni once. He said, Naraji, he said, how much lifetimes had to change before getting oneness with God? Narad Muni smiled at him. He said, you see that big mango tree there? You see how much leaf on that tree? So much lifetime you had to change before you get in oneness with God. The fellow gets so happy he started dancing. And you know why he started dancing? He have a chance. Understand? At least he still have a chance. And all of we had the same chance to get in oneness with God. So some way, somehow, we had to try. If not in this life, in some life to come. But we had to do it. And recently, I was telling somebody, Baba, look at the age Baba reached. How much have we could really even dream to reach our age in this time? Hardly, you know. When I go funeral these days, people in their 40s and then dying, 30s, dying out, health issues. When you reach an age like that, I used to pass and watch him in the gallery. Man, live long. How much of we could live long like that? Very few. So he was blessed. So we mustn't waste this life because going to heaven is not the highest goal. But God loves us so much. He gave us this human life. This human life itself is the opportunity to gain oneness with God. It's only with this human life form we could either go up or down. So we should at least make use of this human life form and see if we get in oneness with God. This human life form is what you call the grace of God. So at least when we get this human body, we should make use of it because we don't know when again we could get this. Because it's very hard to get a human form. And this is the only form you could really make that choice if you could gain oneness with God or not. So at least they make use. So we'll start Ramayana Katha. जो परलोक सुख चहूँ सुनी मामा वचन हृदय दृढ़ गहूँ सुलभ सुकद मार्ग यही बाई भक्ति मोरी पुराण श्रुति गाई श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा बोलो श्री रामचंद्र की जय। यदि यहाँ और परलोक में सुख चाहते हो तो मेरी बात सुनकर उससे दृढ़ता से हृदय में पकड़ रखो। It tells that if we want happiness, right? Because every human being is seeking to be happy. Nobody don't want no problem, man. Everybody want to be happy. And we want to seek happiness in this look, in this life. I want to be happy in what we call lives to come to. Right? So if you want to be happy, because none of us want suffering. And when we say the hereafter, we don't just mean when you die, you know. Sometimes right here in this life, you do actions that will bring happiness in the future for you too. It could be next 10 minutes, next hour, next half an hour, next 10 years. But you have to do the correct actions to be happy. Eh? You can't expect, for example, you can't expect to cause what you call janjat, right, in other people's life and expect your life to run smooth. Eh? That wouldn't happen. So listen to the words of Bhagwan and then vibe it. Have it in mind. Think about the words and the teachings of God. And don't just have it. Because there are many people who have the knowledge of scriptures. They could quote everything in scriptures, but they don't live it, you know. So you could have the knowledge is one, but living it is another thing. Eh? So when you have the knowledge, it's try to use that knowledge and try to live the life that will bring happiness, full-time happiness. For example, right? If you want to be happy and healthy, you expect to eat ghee and vegetable oil and all kind of thing and expect to be healthy. These things, we know it's not good for the human body, you know. And the type of flour these days we eat in is not good. So, if you want to enjoy good health, you have to eat properly, you have to exercise the body, you have to take proper rest, right? These are the things that is necessary to be happy. But if you want to eat rubbish, right, and you ain't exercising, you're not resting properly, all happen, and somehow it will take a toll on your body. So if you want good health, you have to do the correct thing. For example, some people, they're smoking cigarette, they're doing all these wrong things, and when they get sick, they say, I don't know how I get sick, you know. Did I say them? So, if you want to enjoy good health, do the correct thing. You want to enjoy a peaceful life, you try and create peace for yourself and peace for others too. But if you want real full-time joy, full-time what we call happiness, listen to the teachings of God, listen to it, live by it. And Bhagwan is telling us, whatever I've said and whatever I'm saying, it is very simple and it is beneficial and it is a pathway to all joy. He says, do bhakti, do devotion. It is the wisest things, says in our Vedas, in our Puranas, to do bhakti, to do devotion. And what is bhakti? Once I'll give a joke. I went Europe. That is when I was about 19, 20 years old. I went Europe. We went to buy doubles after Ramayana. So it was like with the Pundit and the Pundit talking about bhakti. So the doubles man asked me, what is that bhakti thing? But I said, boy, if you taste that with slide pepper, it's real good, you know. So I always remember that and time I'm talking about bhakti. But actually, bhakti is a genuine search for God. A true genuine search for God, which begins in love, which continues in love, which ends in love. Love towards God. And when we say love towards God, we don't mean God up there and we love God and everybody else, we treat them anyhow. You know? Because that spark of God is within every single being. Not just in me, not just in you, in every single being. Sarva Bhutanam. In the plants, the animals, that spark of God is within. So that's the reason we do Bhuta Yagya when you do your shaving, right? The Daskatra. When you do that, they do a yagya called Bhuta Yagya where you feed the lower species like birds, animals, fish, plants, and these things. So, with that, this is yagya itself, right? It's devotion to God. And according to the Srimad Bhagavata, a bhakta is one who is rich in devotion, whose speech fails, and whose heart melts when they hear that name of God. And sometimes they repeatedly cry They truly cry. Sometimes you see people laughing like they're crazy, like you want to know what's going on. They're devotees of God. Sometimes they dance to the name of God without any shyness. They are true bhaktas. But you know, sometimes people hear this and they read this, and you see something else go on. Like once, right? I went to a satsang, and the fellow wanted to show he's a real bhakta and he's a devotee. He put garlic and onion in your rag and he rub in your eye, so that's his real thing. And looking like, and the eye burning, so he looking like he crying. And you only call him ma. So that don't make you a devotee, eh? You can't fake devotion, eh? You balling man playing real devotee of God. So when you think about it, this bhakti and devotion is something you have to develop. You can't act this out. Because many people that live in this world and they try to act and play devotees of God. But you can't play a devotee of God. You have to become a devotee of God. By doing little things, bit by bit, that love will grow. You know? This is how it is. And many of us, we believe we have to show extreme love. You don't have to show that it does naturally happen. So you don't have to come and start crying, you see thing and you're catching power and all kind of thing. We just see this too, you know. Like up to this morning, right? A fella, he was in the temple. And every time I see him, I try doing his hands so I say, boy, let me tell you something. I's a coward, you know. I'll knock you down, you know. Because I don't know all I scheme. So, when you see all that set of shaking and all kind of thing. I had to watch that, eh? So, true devotees, they purify this world, eh? You can, huh? Yeah, true devotees, they purify this world. And a bhakta is not someone who is do puja once a year. You know, sometimes people do puja once a year and they say, good, a fix. A bhakta is not one who do puja once a year. And a bhakta is not one who chanting God name whole day, you know. Sometimes you see a man chanting God name whole day and he mind all over the place. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. I had a guy working for me. Whole day, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. How much for that thing? Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. You tell him, put slide paper for me. Hare Ram. Your mind no way on God, you know. That's mechanical worship, you know. At least when you pray to God, if it's 10 minutes for the day, put that 10 minutes of your mind and thought on God. Eh? You're calling God's name, but you're doing everything else thing. You can have the thought of God. So at least when we pray to God, pray to God. So a bhakta is not one who putting up flag once a year. A bhakta is not one who chanting God's name whole day. But see, those who do all what they do in the name of God, they are true bhaktas. Everything they do, they remember God. They do it as an offering to God. They are true bhaktas. They are true devotees. So it's not about trying to be something or forcing bhakti. You have to, what we call, naturally or gradually get into devotion with God. And we can't love God and hate everyone else. This is something we have to understand. Cannot love God and hate everyone else. And a bhakta is one who's happy all the time, you know. Whether thing good or thing good, he's still happy. You praise him, he happy. You curse him, he happy. That's a true bhakta, you know. You don't really take on what the world say, you know. Because in the end of it all is between you and God itself, eh? Not you and nobody else. So a bhakta is one who actually, what we call, live in God. We'll hear again as our katha continues. Jnana agam pratyuha anika sadhana katina man kachute ka karat kashta bahu pave ko bhakti hina priya mohina so Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. उपासना का ज्ञान मार्ग अगम है और उसमें अनेक अनेक विघ्न है, उसका साधन कठिन है और उसमें के लिए आधार नहीं होता. And then it tells again that the pathway of knowledge is very difficult. It's very difficult to study scriptures, but not everybody could do that. And in Gyan, there's a lot of obstacles. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't get God realization by studying the scriptures, that you could. And through knowledge and through meditation and yoga and all of this, you could gain oneness with God. But it's more difficult compared to devotion. When you do devotion to God, it is very simple. Because in bhakti, in devotion to God, we don't really have what you call steadfast rules. You know, like some people say you have to wake up 4 o'clock, or you have to be in certain position, standing in your head, all sort of thing, right? To gain oneness with God. Yeah, all that is good, Yoga is very good. But bhakti is very simple. And we should try to follow the simple way. Bhakti, devotion to God. Because when we check out all this yoga and all kind of things, it's difficult. Well, now yoga become what you call a commercial thing. We always know about yoga, and yoga is very good. Yoga actually means union with God. But when we look at it too, these people who copy yoga from us, the white people as we had to say, they copy yoga. And they just act as though they create this thing, So when we think about it, union with God doing bhakti is very simple. It's something we should at least try to follow now. Because when you see, the prayer says, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. Simple thing, you just offer a leaf, little water, flowers, with devotion towards God. And fruits. And whatever fruit you have in season at the time you offer. You don't have to wait till you get apple from the States and grapes and all this thing. If you have mango in season, you offer that. And God will accept. You don't have to wait for no special thing to come from anywhere. Whatever you have, you offer that to God. God is just like the parent in the home. If the child offer the parent anything, that parent taking that normal, and be happy. Because of the thought. The thought behind the action is what's very important. Like long ago, you will remember this, when they used to only bring apple in for Christmas. Remember that? And when you get apple, and you hide that behind your back and you go on and you say, Mommy, or Daddy, and you're excited and your hand trembling and thing. You say, look what I have for you. The parent happy for It's not that they don't want apple, but because of the thought behind that child, they take you up and hug you up and say, yeah, baby, thanks. You know why? Because of the gratitude, the little love. Just so with God, we have a little gratitude. All them fruits and flowers and everything in the world belongs to God. And you're taking God's same thing and offer back to God. It's the gratitude, Because with that same little apple the child get the parent. Is the parent self went and buy that. But it's because of that little gratitude and that little love. The parents love that child so much, Look, for example, I have 2 little children that's be running around, my 2 little girls. Just before I come satsang, they give me, they had them little tea set. They throw out coffee in the plastic cup, nothing in there, and they say, Daddy, drink that before you go. So I drink about 6 of that because I know it didn't affect me. But it just shows you the affection. So the same affection you give to God like that, you're bound to be blessed. That same devotion, that same love that you offer to God. And some people, they study all the scriptures, we gain all the knowledge, And sometimes we don't have no love. And we see this. They know all the scriptures and they quoting page to page, line to line, all kind of thing. And they really have no devotion, you know. They learn it just like a normal textbook. They could say chapter so, this so, and everything. And they don't even have love for God, you know. They have people who preach about God. And if you ask them if they believe in God, no, you know. We have somebody, I don't like to say it, but some of the richest priests and pastors and all sort of thing. Some of them don't believe in God. And they believe in the Almighty Dalana. So, in all religion, I ain't just saying anything about anybody. This is what it is. So, even this, they could quote, they could do everything, they gain all the knowledge, but they have no love towards God, you know. How I say it? I say they're using God too, because they're using God to have a living. So we'll hear again as our kata continues. Before I say anything out of place. Bhakti swatantra sakal sukh kani binu sat sangana pavehi prani punya punja binu milahina santa सत्संगति संस्मृति कर अमता श्री राम जय जय रामा 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 भक्ति स्वतंत्र और सब सुख को की कान है, लेकिन संतों की संगति के बिना प्राणी इससे नहीं पा सकता और पुण्य से मोह के बिना संत नहीं मिलते. It tells Bhakti Swatantra, which is Bhakti is free. Bhakti is free and it is the source of all happiness. Doing devotion to God is the source of all happiness. And you cannot have bhakti, you cannot have devotion without being in satsang. How is satsang? Satsang is really a congregation where the truth is being told. And satsang don't mean you have to have 100 people or 600 people. Once 2-3 people sit down, 2 people sit down and they discuss in that satsang. You don't have to have no big set of crowd. Because I used to go satsang when it was just me and the person alone in the end, we doing satsang. And enjoy argument, bust out and coffee down the line. But it was satsang, discussing. Even satsang, not even talking about God, discussing to cause something good in this world to is satsang. Sometimes we plan to do good actions to uplift others. All that is satsang. And you cannot be in satsang just like that. You have to have the grace of God to reach in satsang. You have to have the grace of God at least to chant the name of God too. To chant the glories of God. And being in a congregation like how we sit in here, the few of we here, it brings a good vibration. You know? And it makes you get what we call more love towards God. More devotion in your heart towards God. So you must try to find ourselves in satsang. And satsang is so modern now, you could have satsang online. You're home and you sit down right there and you chanting and you happy like papi, you know. Chanting the name of God. The only thing you wouldn't get is the parsad and the little food and thing, but it's satsang. And sometimes it's through previous lives, previous birth, we get the opportunity to be in satsang. Because it's real hard. I know I invite people so much time in the temple for satsang and they can't reach, you know. Can't reach, you know. They say, boy, Raj, I come down the step and you know when I rent out in front to go in the car, man pass in this pothole country we have and messed me up, boy. I couldn't reach. Sometimes you hear people call you on the phone, they say, Raj, I ain't coming, you know. I know running, the only thing, and a close hook on the iron and it tear. I can't come satsang. So all kind of thing happen, you can't reach. Your karma set you up that you can't reach any satsang. I could tell you something. I invite a man to satsang for 15 years and he never reached, you know. And you know the day I didn't invite him, he come. I said, boy, I fed up, boy, better stop checking ears. You know, that's the day the man come. So sometimes you don't have to give up. When you're doing God work, you continue doing what you're doing. Because it's not really to impress or to uplift anybody, you know. All what we do in this world is for yourself, you know. When you do satsang, you don't do that for nobody, you know. You're doing satsang to remind yourself. Reminding yourself how you should live, you know. So don't believe that you go satsang and nobody will listen to me, nobody hear me, they even notice me. Or what kind of thing. Like once I went satsang and it had about 300 people, but the fella said, go come and pray. I didn't want to pray, no, I went and pray. Because everybody came on their own conversation and you sit down there. It was a weeknight. I tell them, don't keep satsang weeknight, boy. Everybody want to know what happened. He said, no, you come. Boy, well, good. I still do what I had to do. Who here, and who didn't hear, I still do what I do. I remind me how to live. So that's why satsang, to remind you how to live. So when we get the opportunity to be in satsang, we must make good use. Real full use of satsang. I remember as a little fella, I used to like to go satsang with my father, you know. When they're done, they have biscuit, the people make pie, all kind of thing. I tell you, I was going satsang for the food, you know. And I'll tell you something. Going satsang for the food, you know, that actually encourage you to start to learn. So sometimes that's why I tell people, don't tell people they only come to eat. Sometimes they go in satsang and they're little eating and they all talking, they decide to want to learn, you know. So however people come satsang, they come. Some way, somehow, you know. And many people, you know, they call themselves satsangi. You always hear that too. I remember going satsang as a little boy. And you're going satsang, you're going yoga and thing. And you know, people take you as a little boy now, so they saying anything in front of you. So you sit down there and you hear all kind of thing in satsang. Sometimes people, they go satsang, but they not, they know go on any kata yet, you know. Sometimes they sit down and they're watching to see how who dress. And that woman come with her tattoos all 9 nights of the year. She come with her same clothes. All kind of thing, you know. So sometimes they go satsang and see them, they sit down in the front, but they ain't sit down in the front to take any kata, you know. They really sometimes sit down to go and watch everything else now. But going satsang, the best thing to do is to concentrate on wherever the Pundit saying you will learn something. At least if you learn one thing before you go home, you'll learn something. As my father used to say, when you go satsang, at least carry one thing home. So I carry home my man's slippers. He said, carry home something. Nah, that's a joke. No, but when you go satsang, you must carry home something. At least carry home a little knowledge. Because one little trip of knowledge could bring so much thought. One little thought. So if you get one good thought, it could expand into the millions of good thoughts, you know. And if you go satsang too and you get one bad thought, the people could have fixed that thing, your mind and building shed and thing, you know. So it's according to what thought you pick up, you know. So when you go satsang, at least try to listen and learn something. Don't go in satsang and what you call pass your time now. Because we just see this happening. So you get a chance, you go satsang, you learn. And it's through previous good actions we get this opportunity to be in the company of saints. And who is the saints? We have Hanuman Baba inside here. We have Sri Ram. We have Kak Busundi. We have Tulsi Das. That's why we treat the Ramayana good. You wrap the Ramayana in a nice little cloth. You refer the Ramayana. The God, the teachings exist inside here. So sometimes people say, Baba have a nice Ramayana book, I just have to dust it out and then they put it in the shelf for the encyclopedia and everything else, And no regard. And why is he used to have a nicer Ramayana book? And you're doing RT every day too. And you ain't open it and read a page yet. When you decide to open it, it's a bookworm. Because you pack it up. When you ain't using a book, it tends to fall apart, So at least when you have your little Ramayana book, your little Gita and thing, you read it. At least if you read one page or one verse every day, the book will last and all too. I have a small little Ramayana book, so and I will tell her, that a sadhu they call China man from over the highway. That small Ramayana book could fit in my pocket, And he gave me that was about 12 or 13. And he said, you keep that, you go learn on that book. Right? And I actually learned a lot of things reading in that little book. It just had the writing alone. But you just learn something from every book you have. So that book, he died and gone so much years. I still had that book there, It's because he actually blessed you. He said, go learn there. And it actually started off like that. So find yourself in good company. Because if you look for good company too, you could be in problem, because somehow we don't see no good in nobody too. The saint in front here and he say, watch he. I'm crooking him. We just see these things too, So the devatas right in front of us, they're right in the scriptures. If you can't find good company, take up a Ramayana book and read. Take up a Gita and read. It everything comic and all too. So anyhow you could read, you read. You will learn something from the scriptures. We'll hear again as the kata continues. Punya ek jag माहु नहीं दूजा मन क्रम बचन विप्र पद पूजा सनुकुल तेहि पर मुनि देवा जो तजि कपत करे द्विज सेवा श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा श्री राम जय जय रामा। संसार में एक ही पुण्य है, उसका समान दूसरा नहीं। वहाँ मन कर्म और वचन से ब्राह्मणों के चरणों के पूजा। It tells that the highest virtue is to do service to a man of God, in thought, in word, and in action. A true man of God, you do service for them. The God just be pleased with you and bless you too. So you must do service to a man of God, because the devatas just bless you. And you serve them in such a way without even any thought. You do what you have to do. But a question does arise all the time in time I read this kata. Who is a man of God? Because these days, you see people with all kind of puggree and all kind of nice little big long chandan from the nose going up, long mala and thing, and you say, yeah boy, that is a man of God. We just see that, These days, the more they dress up, the more man of God is, But when you think about it, a man of God is one who is learned in his scriptures. Yes, anybody could learn and learn. Who is learned in his scriptures, but who becomes sinless, who is very, very unpolluted by lust, by greed, by anger, by hate. They are unpolluted by these things. And who is the greatest knower of the self? And who is the greatest knower of the all-pervading God? That is a true man of God. Because it's only when somebody is pure in heart and in soul itself, then they could really realize God. But we all have to reach that point someday in this I don't know if to say not this life, but in some life, right? Try to gain oneness with God. But at least we have to work with what we have to. Those who at least try to encourage good things to happen. Because we see a lot of strange things. And I'll give a simple example that I went through in my life. Because, I used to carry around all them swami and all them big fellas come away, the organization sending me. So, this fella come down. So, they call me, they say, hey, Raj, at time I say, yeah, how you mean? So I go on. Not that I bashing anybody, I just telling you what my experience was. So the fella well dressed in all the robe and all kind of thing. So I happy, I drop down on the man foot. Boy foot happy like papi. I going to carry around a man of God. So whole day he say he fasting. But anyway he pass you and he watching people mango tree. He said mango looking good for you. That's this watching people fruits. But then after when I realized I carried him around and he asking for donation, right? But nothing is wrong with that. But he say he want to build a big a gaushala, what they call it in India. And he want to mine a set of cow and purchasing one cow cost so much and so much US. And the build the place costing so much. So I went by this businessman. Is that businessman opened my eye, I didn't know I carry any man around. I said the man asking for donation, he doing a good thing. So the businessman said, boy, I went to India and it have a set of cow running all over the place, crazy. Why don't you just make up a little change and block around the place? I'm sure you could get wood and thing there and start to mine them same cow. We're going to buy cow for US and then. So I started thinking, so I didn't tell him nothing, I sat down in the car. So he come in the car, but he didn't get no money, right? So he wasn't too happy. So he was there grumbling in the car. So when evening come, I say, Guruji, you want anything to eat or drink or anything? Yeah, my fasting, but anyway, have a nice little fish soup, boy. I shock, because I don't know that. I said, what you say? He said, fish soup. I started to laugh, right? I said, no, I don't know anyway. You want to get mango? He said, no, I need something warm in my system. So I said, no, I really can't. I'll drop you back now and they will organize you down there. I don't know where he from yet. All I do, I used to just like to carry around these people now. So when you think about it, sometimes we looking up at people and have respect for them. And it's a different story, And not because a man does eat whatever he's eat, we must look down, But the thing is, if you say you live in this life, live this life. And be true to yourself now. Because we see all kind of fake thing happening these days, Man playing big saint and all kind of thing. And it's a different story. So at least when you're when you're looking for a guru, look for somebody who you could at least talk to and who could guide you, because everybody have a fault, Nobody is really fully perfect. But look for somebody who could guide you. And then another thing we see these days, I'd like this point, I just talk about this point a little bit. Sometimes you see a man with big time can and he well dressed and he talking and singing away. That don't mean he's a man of God, This is something we people just get carried away with a lot, You see the little singing and the little this and that, they get carried away with that. And the man of God, they like to shave their head down. Some of them just grow their hair long too. And most of them just have real talks, They're full of talks. And they try to impress you too and suppress you too. They try to do things differently. They see you doing this all the time, so they say, no, do it this way. So now you believe, yeah, boy, that man, all the time you're doing it one way and it working, They say, no, do it this way. Don't go right, go left. And you start to believe, but that is impressionist. A lot of people, right, let's get carried away with impressionists, Even with we ritual self, you see that, You go see the man putting on all kind of strange thing they're doing when they're doing puja too. Understand? But it has something called impressionists. They impress you, and sometimes they suppress you, sometimes they depress you too. Understand? But don't get carried away with these things. That's why you have to understand your own way, where you grew up in and where you understand. So here again, as the kata continues. Right. औरो एक गुप्त मत सब ही करे कर जोरी शंकर भजन बिना नर भगति न पावे मोर सिया पति रामचंद्र की जय उमापति महादेव की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय. Bhagwan is telling that I'm telling you a secret, a Gupta secret. And what is the secret? The secret is you don't see difference between the different forms of God. There's only one God. But many of us, we see this God and that God and the next God and the next God. But when you go deeper into it, there's only one God. And that one God could have so many names. That one God could have so many forms. But we separate God. We say Monday, we pray to this God. Tuesday, we pray to that God. Wednesday, that God. And you separate all the same one God. And it don't make sense. You pray to God how you know how to pray to God. If you're praying to Hanuman Baba, you could pray to him on Wednesday too, nothing wrong. Sometimes people say, hey boy, you can't do Hanuman Baba Puja Wednesday or Thursday and thing, you know. He ain't going to answer that prayers, you know. But any day you call upon Hanuman Baba, your prayers will be answered. Any day you call on Durga Mata, you don't have to wait for Friday. You call on Ma any day, God will be there, you know. So don't believe you have to wait on a time and special color and all them things. You see people with all of that. These things recommended too. And I'll say something that most people really do, but it really make for the weaker minds to develop. Like fasting. If you check the Hindu calendar, every day is fasting, you know. Every single day. So if you say you fasting for everything, well, go on, you ain't go eat. So that's why fasting is recommended, yes. But you who live in life every day don't have to follow everything every day, you know. Like we go have the Diwali Hindu, you go see for Diwali, all of them fasting and everything, right? That's okay, they're fasting, they're still doing something. We go have the Shivatri Hindu, only Shivatri, they celebrate Shivatri and that's it. But in the end of the day, however people live and however they do their thing, let it be, you know. You just know what you is about. If you live in this life, you live this life every day, you good to go. You don't have to force what you believe in on anybody, yeah? Because sometimes even people marriages mash up because of these simple things, you know. The wife want to do fast and the husband don't want to fast. The husband fast and the wife don't want to fast. And they create problem over these little things, you know. Like a fella last week, he bandara finished Saturday morning, lunchtime. He said I could drink a beer this evening. I said, boy, don't ask me nothing now. Just wait 2 weeks now. You have a little time now, boy. You're thirsty, or but you see that at least you should use your common sense a little bit now. There's one to rush. And another stupid thing I see recently. They were in the raksha in their hand. I did puja for a fella. And he went in the raksha, I tie raksha. When I leave from the puja, I go on home. And you know the status on WhatsApp now. I just end up clicking it. So I say he might have pictures for the puja. He have a picture, you know, with a star in his hand and the raksha and victory. Boy, when I see that, I call him one time, you know. Because that's a crazy thing to do. You know done puja. Relax yourself a little bit now. People let's get hold out, you know. Yeah, better they didn't do anything. So at least when you pray to God, it has time for everything. Follow where you're following. So don't see no difference between the different forms of God. And Bhagwan is telling us, you can pray to Lord Shiva or you pray to Sri Ram, don't see no difference. There's only one God. And the only people go say it only have one God is a Hindu. It might sound right, but it's the reality, right? Because everybody else, they have an agenda. Because, yes, we say one God. And we go bow to everybody else form. But nobody ain't gonna do that to a Hindu, no. They watch and say them worshiping devil there, you know. See they put our food there. Like spirit come and put on. You see all kinds of stupid things, you know. Sometimes people frighten. You only Hindu people frightened. So I say, boy, me coming out after 6 on his picture box, you know. Next thing something choked me out there, you know. Come on now. Long ago they used to tell people these things, but it is stay home at least after 6 and pray and thing. But these days people they carry to the max. They're frightened and all kind of thing. So at least I suppose a Hindu be a real good Hindu. Follow what you're following. As I always tell people if you whatever you follow it to the best. And don't let nobody outside come, you know, they like to come by your home with all this jacket and thing and good morning, I have a book for you. They'll give you a donation and they try to convert you, you know. But conversion is a waste of time. Because as we say to one God, were you converting from one God to go back to pray to the same God? Think about it. If you really want to convert, if we are wicked mind, convert from a wicked mind to a good mind. That's the kind of conversion you need. You don't need to change your religion. You don't need to change anything else. Just change the way you think. Change your mind. Some of them say, no, I went there and everything worked out for me. And then they want to come back and say, Baba, check my grand and see what's going on. We don't see that. But as Hindus, be true Hindus. Don't let anybody try to tell you what you're doing is not right. If you're doing something and you don't know why, just find out. Don't let nobody come and tell you, boy, you're doing this and doing that. Find out why you're doing that. So you can at least, what we call, wake up other people and don't let people believe that you know what you're doing, we're just doing. Understand? I won't go further, I was singing a little bhajan. And we go. Anybody want to sing a bhajan? Alright, I was. Hmm? Yeah, alright.
Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari Panduranga Panduranga Rama Krishna Hare Panduranga Panduranga Rama Krishna Hare Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama Vithala Vithala Panduranga Rama Krishna Hare Vithala Vithala Panduranga Rama Krishna Hare Rama Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hare Mukunda Murari Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radha Madhav Radhe Sham Radha Madhav Radhe Sham Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Vallabha Sita Ram Sita Vallabha Sita Ram Radha Mukunda Radhe Sham Radha Mukunda Radhe Sham Radha Govinda Radhe Shyam, Radha Govinda Radhe Shyam, Radha Radha Radha, Radha Radha Radha, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Vrindavan Govinda, Vrindavan Govinda, Krishna Mukunda, Krishna Mukunda, He Nanda Nandana, O Nanda Nandana, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda. Hari Om.
बजोरे मन राम गोविंद हरि 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 जप तप साधन कछु नहीं लागत जप तप साधन कछु नहीं लागत करचत नहीं गतरी बजोरे मन राम गोविंद हरि बजोरे मन राम गोविंद हरि संकट संपत सुख के कारण संकट संपत सुख के कारण जासे भूल परी बजोरे मन राम गोविंद हरि बजोरे मन राम गोविंद हरि राम गोविंद हरि बजोरे मन राम गोविंद हरि संकट संपत सुख के कारण संकट संपत सुख के कारण जासे भूल परी बजोरे मन राम गोविंद हरि बजोरे मन राम गोविंद हरि राम नाम लो सुमिरन कर ले राम नाम लो सुमिरन कर ले सिर पे मोत करी बजोरे मन राम गोविंद हरि बजोरे मन राम गोविंद हरि कहत कबीर राम जामुक नहीं कहत कबीर राम जामुक नहीं वो मुख दूल भरी बजोरे मन राम गोविंद हरि 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 बोलो श्री रामचंद्र की जय। Right. You know, I tell you, this is the first time I come here, I was a little fella, right? I'll give you a joke going on. I was going primary school. And in primary school, I was going and getting some trouble for something. That is after common entrance. So, boys and them tell the teacher what I do. So, I started to play a cat spirit and jumpy and thing, right? So, the principal bring me home. So, when they bring me home, that was Miss Dawson at the time. She dropped me home. And she tell my mother, hey, that child have a spirit. And I blowing and breathing hard and thing like something going on. I'm afraid I get in trouble with the principal. So, she carried me home. So, my father was working. So my mother said, boy, let me carry you by the pundit before your father come home. So the first place she reached was here. So it had a little puja store in front, I think. Passed through, we come in some room. Baba read the patra and thing. So he said, he gave me a mango. He said, go outside, you go feel good, you go eat a mango when you go home. You know, he tell my mother, he said, don't study, he know that little boy on scheme. Right? I stand up by the door, but I want to hear what he telling she too, you know. So, when we walking down the road, I reach Pancho Lane corner, walking in. Yeah, my mother, I want to tell you something. The pundit say a line, you know. I say, yeah, I know. Yeah, she said, why you didn't tell me before we go up the road? I said, well, I didn't know what you would have do with me after the principal bring me home. So, you know, I always remember that incident. Every time I pass and see Pundit, I say, just watch it. Because I always remember that little piece of joke. Now, he didn't say it in front of me, you know, he wait, he sent me outside. That's why I asked you how long this Murti here. Because I remember standing up somewhere there and watching the Murti. Yeah, and I always remember that every time I pass and see Pundit upstairs, I said, how he didn't want me to know that I was lying. Yes. Yeah, so he sent me outside. So, you know, sometime, and I'm sure he probably was already in his 60s year because look how the age Baba lived. But I just show you the way he lived and how he operate. He never wanted people to really feel bad. When he's saying something, maybe he used to do it in a nice, quiet way. And I get a mango on top, actually mango on top of it. So, you know, these is little things, look, that one thing, and I remember that. Baba dying gone, I remember that. And one other time I see him again with my father. And my father saying, no, Baba served this whole area. And this is one line my father used. I'm just saying this because it's we here. He saying, no, when you get old and people, you don't have the use, people don't have the use for you again, they don't look for you. He used to say that, no. Every time when the time he see Baba, he see many grounds, somebody in the back road, they had died. And he tell me that, no. So he said, I'm going to tell you something. You do all what you want in this world. The day you lose your value, you could be who? People wouldn't look for you, you know. He said, but do what you have to do. Don't study that. So he said, Baba is a lesson, so, because Baba was no simple man. He always said that. My father had high respect for Baba. So we will sit a little close in prayer. कथा विसर्जन होत है, सुनो वीर हनुमान। एक घड़ी आधो में पुनियाद। तुलसी संगत साधिके कते कोते अपराध। तुलसी संगत साधिके कते कोते अपराध। जो जन जहाँ से आई कथा सुनो मन लाए। अपने अपने धाम को विदा हो हर्षाय। देवता सब आश्रम गए, शंभु गए कैलाश। रामायण मम हृदय महा आए करो तुम बास। बार बार बर मांगे हो हर्षिदेव श्री रंग। परसरो पायनी भक्ति सदा सत्संग। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। बोलिए श्रीपति रामचंद्र की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। बोलो श्री अर्यमा पित्र भगवान की जय। जय जय श्री सीताराम।